Welcome back, everyone. This is B-Bell Dan, and we are constructing the Enterprise J in Blender. I want to go ahead and first start off with this episode by mentioning two things. First off, I think I may have goofed. I'm not 100% positive what's going on. I will show y'all a little bit later in the video what I'm talking about, but hopefully it's something that I can eventually resolve down the line, and it doesn't mean that I might have to redo almost the entire ship. We'll get to that in a minute. The other thing is that I am going to do my best. I know I said this before, but I'm going to try to keep these videos as short as possible. I know that those of y'all that are watching the videos, might not always have time to be sitting down and watching, a full 20-minute, 30-minute episode. So I'm going to try to keep it a little bit shorter. So, try to mix it to where y'all can get some of the commentary in that I'm doing. Um, you know, I know y'all not watching me for the commentary, but maybe y'all might have actually, like you're interested in some of the stuff that I might say on my ideas of the ship. So we'll try to do that, and I'll try to, do some of the tutorials and do some building on the ship. But I actually have a timer going on, so once I start getting around the 10-minute mark, I'm going to start winding down the video. So I'm going to try to keep it as close as I can, whole video around the 15-minute mark. So, and I have to apologize if I end up doing a lot of coughing or what have you. Um, yeah, I kind of had a little incident out in my backyard today. I'll probably talk more about that a little bit later if we have time. But yeah, I'm kind of coughing and everything. So if I do that in the video, I apologize. But first off, let's go ahead and start and take a look at some of the things that I've done. I have done a few small little tweaks and changes. First off, right here, as you can probably see, it's a slightly different shape than what it's been in the previous episodes. But, oh, excuse me. But primarily what I've been doing is I've gotten it, if you noticed in other videos, I was kind of worried about how it wasn't quite matching the shape, but what do we see in the picture? But as you can see, it's starting to get there. Still got a little bit of tweaking to do, but I mean, it's starting to get pretty close. A little bit of lining up along here, but sorry. I don't know why I'm burping all this, or belching. I apologize. Um, but yeah, I got some things to do. It's pretty much primarily with just me trying to mix with bin, shapes and sizes and all that other type of good stuff. Part of it is I think this here is actually supposed to kind of curve a little bit. But yeah, we'll work on that. But it's getting a lot closer right now. But we'll come back to this in a minute because this is where you'll notice the problem. Pay attention to this little bit of detail when we come back to it. Starting to trying to straighten out these back edges, these little wings here, or the tails, or whatever you want to call it. Trying to get those to fit. Oh, and how I fix this here is that this back portion, all right in here, I took this and I lowered them all down and started right about in this area. And actually you can see it from here in this picture. Starting about in this area and just started tapering it down all the way to the back. So in the back it's a little bit more flat. And I had my reserves about doing that at first because I thought that maybe it went, um, you know, that maybe it did go completely straight out the back like this and then kind of went down. But now that I'm looking at it, if you look very carefully at this picture here, right about there, that actually looks like what that model is actually doing. I mean, it's pretty darn close to following that shadow, if you can see right about in here. You know, so yeah, I mean it's pretty darn close. I don't think I can get any closer than that right there. So actually, that's what it's doing. It looks like it goes straight along here, and then right about here it just tapers straight down. And that makes a little bit of sense because the Enterprise D, it tapers. It doesn't just go straight out. It kind of, just imagine me drawing with my mouse. Here's the saucer, comes down to the back, and then it kind of tapers off, into a slight incline, tapers off back here to where it's almost flat up in the back where there's the two, aft phaser strips and everything, and the aft photon torpedo launcher. So it's kind of almost following that little that little trend that was set inside Starship. So it actually kind of works. So I'm actually happy with that. I've done quite a bit of work up in the front, like I said that I was going to be doing. Let me go ahead and put this into solid mode, into the deflector dish. This right here, can't think what it's called. That used to be flat. It's now kind of a bit, don't know if y'all can see it, but it's a bit concaved. If I look at it from the top, you should be able to see it's a little bit concave just to get a little bit of the shape in. In fact, I've even modeled it, if we look at it from the front, to fit a little bit closer to the details that we're seeing here. I mean, it's not exact, but it's getting a little bit closer. And also, as you can see right there, started working on some of the details on the inside of the deflector dish. Let's go into render mode. Oh, no, not materials. Render mode here. Zoom in a little bit. And you can see that. Now, what I do need, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Yeah, you can see the details a little bit better. Now, what I do need to do is I need to put a line right here, a bit of separation. I don't quite like how that's all one big solid piece right here. I want another line of separation, but I'm going to kind of do this little detail all the way around. And how I do that, same way I do the hull plating, I just go into edit mode. Oh, and I've also went ahead and put in it's going to be very difficult to try to see, but a lip. I mean, this entire blue section here is a lip right along in there. So it makes it look like this is more of a separate piece from the hull rather than it blends into the hull. Let me see if I can find an area where you can see that real quick. If I do this, yeah, yeah, if you see right in there, yeah, see that? So there's an edge, it goes straight down, and then this comes out. So if you're looking at it from the inside, it looks like this is one solid, this is a separate piece from this, and that's what we're kind of wanting. But anyways, yeah, once again, going back to this little detail, how I'm doing this is going to face select. Same way I did the hull plate details. I select about 2 of these, press E to extrude, but I don't do anything. Then I press S, 0.9 to scale it down to 0.9. Now, I'm going to do Control and hold down my number pad plus to select additional meshes. It selects one additional face, not mesh, face. So if I select this face here, it selects one more additional face that's surrounding it. Do a Shift E to, yeah, Shift E to go ahead and level that out. Then I'm going to extrude again and move it up just a little bit. Now the number percentage is a little bit difficult to try to type in. It's like 0.00. So if I was to say up, I'd do like in Y 0.0021, but I just do it by eye. Then I'm going to go ahead and do Control 1 again to select additional faces and do a Shift E to make those edges sharp. And voila, there we go. We got that a little extra detail. And I'm going to be doing that all the way around this entire deflector dish. So looks like that. Gives it a little bit of interesting detail in this little back portion here. You probably not going to see, but I'm going to clean that up. But what I need to do to it first, I've already done it to the bottom, but I have not done it to the top. Whoops. If you can see, we have, whoops, wrong one. There we go. These meshes here, you see, or these, not meshes, I'm sorry. These edges here, they're going like this. I have to go in and take every single one of these and move it over. And once again, as I do that, I do a Shift V, and it allows me to move that vertice to where it stays along that edge. And I do that through all those, straighten them all up, and it gives it a much nicer little bit of a look. And I have done some cleaning up on the ship itself. The bottom's starting to look a little bit better, not too I mean, it still needs a little bit more work, but I'm selecting all these edges in here and doing, oh, excuse me, and doing, um, just selecting a bunch of edges, select some faces, control plus to select a bunch of these, and I go to, mesh, vertices, and then I just tell it to smooth the vertices, and it smooths it out to try to make it to where it flattens them out, but it doesn't completely scale them down to zero. So it does smooth it out, and it's starting to, if you remember how these edges and all looked, it does kind of smooth it out just a little bit. So I've been doing that. Did a little bit of work on the bottom of the saucer, not too much. Added in just an extra set of windows. I'm going to have to do some modifications on where the vertices are at on the bottom as well. I mean, if you could see, and I'll focus more on this on the next episode. But here I have the windows right about where I want them, lengthwise this way. But as this edge loop travels over here, as we could see, they become fatter and skinnier. So I need to actually, well, not really fatter. Well, yeah, they're a bit fatter. So they become wider this way, but not as long this way. So I had to take each one of these edges here and these edges here and move them in, and then take these edges here and move them out. And we'll focus more about that on the next episode. But I'm just, put in an extra set of windows just to see how it looks. The big thing that I've been working on is, and this will be the last thing, is this back, oh, it helps if I had it up, is this back little observatory area, observation deck area here. Talked about this is what I was going to do. What is going, I see what I'm doing wrong. Okay, there we go. This little back observation area right here. Now I had two potential designs that I was planning to do with this. The first design was actually, whoops, not that, sorry, mouses, was actually this type of design right here. It was more spherical, but I ultimately did not go with that. I mean, I still probably could if y'all, no, that's terrible. I still probably could go with that if y'all like that design, but I swapped, I just didn't quite like about how it, I just didn't quite like how it looks. So I went ahead and I'm keeping it in, so if I want to still use it, I can use it. But I decided instead to go more along the lines of, quit that, of this design right here. It has a slight taper in the front, no taper along the sides. Maybe I might put a little bit of taper on. Now these windows here, ignore that. I'm just experimenting because I want several different windows in this, observation deck area, in this atrium, observation H/atrium deck that looks out towards the back part of the ship. I was just experimenting to try to figure out which way do I want the windows to go. Do I want them to go horizontal or do I want them to go vertical? And what do y'all think? I mean, y'all give me y'all's opinions on that, please. I'm begging y'all, I'm asking y'all, give me y'all's opinions on what y'all would probably think. That little red dot, that's, once again, that's just a person, just to kind of, or represents the size of a person, so you can get a scale of reference to basically how big somebody is. So just imagine if somebody was, standing right there looking out the window, that's how big the window is. Maybe there's several different floors here, so you might have a person up here, a person up there. I mean, this is potentially about, I mean, if you take this person here and, whoops, you know what, let me go into solid. If I take this and move this person over here, I mean, you can see it's almost as big as each one of these. I mean, so that could be a deck, 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 almost potentially. Or I could just have it to where it's just one big area. Imagine the person's right inside there, and and this right here, I'm not going to just model the windows, I'm going to model the interior. So I'm going to make these windows to be see-through, and where you'd be able to see inside. You could see the plants and the atrium and the recreational area inside here. So yeah, take a look at it and let me know what y'all probably think about that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've done. So a little bit of work, a little bit of toying around, but real quick, I can see that we're getting to the point to where I'm going to have to go ahead and say stop here. I'll show you what I was talking about real quick. If we look at this area here, now here's the center line. This is the center line of the ship, runs up along through here, correct? For the most part, it's pretty close, but not exact. Part of that is because of the way this tapers down. I might need to probably bring that taper back a little bit more, or probably, I don't know. I'm going to look into see what I can do with that, but let's not focus on that. Focus on this right here. I thought that this area right here was kind of like, windows, you know, right along the center line, because that's what it looked like it was on the center line. So I was about ready to model it. So I'm going into modeling. Oop, wrong thing. There you go. So I'm going into modeling, and I was going to go ahead and add in some extra edges right here. Here's the center line right here. So I do a Control R, and it would help if y'all can see it. There we go. So I can do a Control R, and I bring it along right here. And wait a minute. If you can see, helps, yeah, be easier if you see it from the top. There's the center line of this thing. So I do a Control R, and that line is not lining up with that. I mean, to draw in that window, I would have to put the new edge right there. So that window is actually off center line. So if that is a window that's supposed to be on the center line of the ship, something is wrong over here. I mean, I don't know. I've been, rubbing, I've been battling with this for just a little bit. I mean, I say a little bit. I mean, or make it sound like it's a long time. Really, I was just looking at it for about 5 minutes before I decided, you know what, I'm going to put it on the back burner and wait. The more I started thinking about it is that if I don't have this all lined up right to where that's the center line, then, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, is the center line of the ship right there? I mean, that right there, that's the center. I mean, I don't know. Y'all probably see what I'm talking about. If that's supposed to be on the center line, but to draw that edge in there to model that, it's actually going to be over here. Something's wrong. So, excuse me. I apologize. I don't know what is wrong with me today. I hope y'all didn't hear that. But yeah, that's my conundrum. So I'm going to be thinking about it, but eventually probably what I'm going to end up doing is just ignoring it. And that'll be one of those things to where, I'll just draw it in the center line where I want it to be. And if it doesn't quite line up with that picture, I'm just going to just deal with it. Just tell everybody just to deal with it. I'll just deal with it. So if I'm going to deal with it, everybody else has to deal with it. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to stop right there. There were a couple of other things I wanted to focus in this episode, but we'll save it for the next episode. I'm going to do a lot more work. One other thing that I was going to do in this episode is that, I kind of failed last episode talking about the importance of edge loops. And I was going to demonstrate on this the importance, but we'll do that in the next episode because I'm pretty sure I'm getting pretty close to that 15-minute mark if I'm not over already. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and once again stop right there. I want to thank y'all for watching. Once again, please leave some comments if you don't mind about what y'all think I should probably do with this back portion right here. Should I go with horizontal? Should I go with some vertical windows? What do you think? Keep in mind that these are going to be modeled to where you can see inside it, and it's going to be a recreational area inside there. So you'll be able to actually see into this. So what would look better? Y'all let me know what y'all would probably think, and also what y'all might think about what to do with this little part of engineering right there. So, once again, my name is BBell Dan. This is the Enterprise J in Blender, and thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.